Hi and welcome to Stories and Folktales by Chi. I'm going to share a story about a woman named Sarah and the help she found in a place that didn't want to forget. Ilara, watch, listen and learn. Let the story begin.
Sarah lived far out, an hour's drive through thick woods that seemed to breathe if you listened too long. At the end of that lonely road stood her home, a magnificent modern mansion, elegant, isolated, silent. After a bad fall, Sarah, a vibrant, stylish woman in her 40s, suddenly needed help around the house, so she posted a flyer in the nearest town seeking for a domestic staff. And then Ilara arrived. No luggage, no car, nothing. She simply appeared, holding the flyer Sarah had posted in town, like it had called to her across decades. Ilara was beautiful, but off. Her eyes were amber, the kind of amber that glows too long in the dark. She barely blinked. She moved like water and worked like lightning. As long as she got the job done around the house, Sarah was not bothered. In fact, Sarah was too sad about her situation to notice anything about Ilara. Ilara did everything so well. Cleaning, cooking, organising, silently, swiftly, perfectly. And somehow, she was always smiling. And she knew things Sarah had never told her. The name of Sarah's relatives, an embarrassing story from her 16th birthday, and many more. At first, Sarah ignored it, told herself it was coincidence, but the house started to shift. Doors creaked open on windless days, whispers echoed down empty halls, and the old grandfather clock, it chimed 13 times, always at midnight. Ilara never flinched. She simply dusted, or stirred a pot, or stood still, listening. Then came even more weird signs that got Sarah afraid. Grey stones etched with spiralling symbols, feathers that shimmered unnaturally, all by her bedside table, circles of salt drawn around her bed whenever she entered her room. What is the meaning of all this? Sarah wondered. When Sarah asked Ilara about them, Ilara only stared, wide-eyed, blank, silent, smiling. "You are just a clown." Sarah waved it all off and went away. And then the dreams began. Twisted trees, dark forests, figures watching from beyond the fog, eyes always watching. And in those dreams, sometimes, Ilara stood among the trees, but changed. As if reality couldn't quite hold her. She looked different, deformed, glowing eyes, emotionless, sad, and these dreams continued. One rainy evening, Sarah saw Ilara standing at the forest edge. The rain poured, soaked the grass, dripped from every branch. But Ilara wasn't wet, not a drop. She stood still, like a soldier on attention, as if frozen. Sarah wiped her eyes to be sure of what she just saw, and as she looked again, Ilara wasn't in the woods anymore, like she disappeared. That night, Sarah finally asked the question, "Who are you?" she asked Ilara, trembling. "I never called anyone like you." Ilara turned toward the notice board, the flyer still pinned in place in the kitchen. "You already know me." Ilara smiled. "You called for help." And I answered, "My name is Ilara, your favourite help." Sarah was in shock. She ran to the living room away from Ilara. She called her sister and friend to come over the next day to help her with the situation. That night, Sarah couldn't sleep. She just sat there in the living room awake and starved of sleep. The whispers became voices, sorrowful and loud. Sarah sat awake in her living room till morning until her sister and friend came.
Listen, Sarah, This house, it is haunted. We don't know why, but rumour has it that something terrible happened in it. You are barely a month in your mansion, and you are already seeing things. Just leave this house, please. Come with us. There are other beautiful houses in town, and you can afford them.
I am not leaving. I will find out what exactly is going on in this house, and who that crazy girl in my house is. Elara! Elara, why is this weird girl keeping quiet? Where is she, by the way? Look, it's my house, and I call the shots.
All right, Sarah, but we have to go. Let us know when you change your mind. We would help you get a new house in the city.
That evening, Sarah called her hairstylist to come do her hair. When the stylist came, Sarah brought up the name Elara. Shh! Please, madam, don't mention that name. But why? Sarah asked, and then the stylist told her the story. I have lived around here for 25 years of my life, and I know who Elara is, or rather was. Poor cheerful Elara. 10 years ago, Elara had worked for this mansion's former owner, a cruel, wealthy woman. She had sent Elara to the market. Innocent and cheerful Elara left for the market, but she returned too early. She had lost the money her madam gave her to shop from the market. Elara was afraid. She came home crying to her madam and explained that she was robbed, but her madam didn't care. She was a very bitter woman, filled with rage. You lying thief, give me my money now. She hit Elara and pushed her. Unlucky Elara. She fell down the courtyard. Her neck snapped on the courtyard marble floor. The madam never reported it. Instead, she buried her in the dark and vanished. But the police later arrested her because Elara's family started looking for their daughter. But before the police could get her to talk, this wicked woman suddenly fell sick and went into coma till she passed. So that's how Elara's case died. But Ma, how did you come to know of Elara? Because she works for me, Sarah replied. She what? Sarah understood then. Oh dear, my own need for help, my pain, my isolation had stirred something old, something unfinished. Elara hadn't come in vengeance. She came in remembrance, a ghost. She's used to working in this house, and she has returned to continue working. But why? Why did she return to this house? How did I even manage to see a ghost, live with a ghost, and even speak with a ghost? Oh my goodness! But no one has lived here for years. But wait! My hairstylist, she said Elara was buried in the dark. What did she mean? Did they ever find the body? Elara was just being a good girl. She was only doing what she loved the most, working. Why would someone be that cruel to a fellow human? Oh, poor child. Sarah felt the pull, outdoors, to the backyard, to the patch of earth near the shed, where the soil looked wrong. She had never bothered coming to this side of the house. She had other places in the house she still hadn't explored. She dug, with shaking hands, and the ground gave way, too easily. Bones, wrapped in old cloth, twisted in silence. She now understood everything. Why Elara showed up at her house. It is her house. After all, her bones are here, Sarah thought. She called the police and informed them of her discovery. At dawn, as Sarah waited in her backyard for the police to arrive, Elara's ghost was just there behind Sarah, standing and watching. Finally, she is free. And sometimes, if you listen closely, when the wind is just right, you can hear her humming still, fast and swift like the wind.